Hello and welcome to the Game of Miles podcast, where Daddy and Papa take a game of inches and turn it into 1,000 miles. We are going into week 10 of the fantasy football season, and I got Jake Laposha with me. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Spelly. I am excited for our matchup this week in Week 10. You and we got some players going tonight, so kicking the weekend off right.
It was bound to happen that we got matched up. I wish you the best of luck. We
You as
have a
well.
lot of points projected for both of our teams. So hopefully it's a shootout, and maybe we'll compete for that high score of the week and win $10. We'll see.
I need got to start buying Christmas gifts. So I need the high score.
That's very true. Get your Black Friday deals ready to go. But yeah, the season is flying by. So I'm excited to get into this. We got a very special podcast this week. It is the trade deadline podcast, and we are going to talk about some craziness that's been going on the past 2 weeks in the league. We do have a very special guest that will be joining us later. But before we get into all that, let's take care of some business up front, go through our regular segments, and then get to the good stuff. So to start out, let's see how the commissioner did this week and check yourself with his weekly predictions. And Posh, I'm just going to let you go over this because wow,
this is going to be an easy one because Grant. We'll just say Grant was perfect this week with a 6-0, and for the first time. And Grant, hats off to you. That is phenomenal. The first one was Spelly versus Harmon. He picked Harmon. Harmon won. Kyle versus Rich, which was very close. He picked Kyle. Kyle won that one. Grant and Willie, which was also a pretty good game until James Conner put up about 35. Grant picked himself. No surprise there, and he won. Adam and Dick Doc picked Adam. Maury and Landon. Maury got that win, and then me versus Scott, and I took that one. More than doubling his score. So Grant was a perfect 6-0 on the week, moving his overall record to 35-19, which that's going to help out significant with his record going undefeated like that.
Yes, great job to Grant. And as you guys are probably noticing, we had to shoot the podcast on Thursday night this week, so you might get the podcast and the predictions video tonight.
Ooh, double whammy.
Yeah, so that'll be great. So good luck to Grant as he predicts week 10. And we'll see what his overall record is, but he's looking very good to stay over 500 for the year. All right, up next, we had the slap bet showdown with a little bit of a twist this week because earlier in the day, I went ahead and just solidified my destiny. It's looking like Jonathan Taylor is going to take the cake with the slap bet. So I figured if I'm going to get slapped, I might as well have that guy on my team and potentially have him as a keeper for next year. But Push, how are the numbers looking?
Well, as I said today, it came full circle for you. You made that bet, got Taylor in your hands now, potential keeper for you as well. Kamara is at 142 and Taylor is at 174.9. Taylor has been going off the charts the past 2 or 3 games, and I don't see any signs of him slowing down. I don't know what got into him. He had the slowest start in the history of the NFL, and now he's going to the moon. And so I think but good for you. I think you solidified a good, like I said, you solidified your destiny. I think it's going to help you not be squid. I know you were kind of worried about that earlier. So I think that's going to help a lot. So.
Yep. And Kamara has a knee injury that he's been battling. And so unless for whatever reason, the Saints just give him the ball 30 times a game, it's looking like Taylor's going to run away with it, but you never know. But yes, made that trade and partially just to take away the sting of that slap from Grant just a little bit.
You might get slapped, but I still have him as a keeper.
That's right. Yep, exactly. And I have him in CMC, so we'll see what transpires there. And lastly, before we get into all the trade talk, we're going to run down the power rankings really quick. And with the power rankings, because it will be a nice segue into all the trade talks, let's run through the power rankings and then say everybody's keeper or what we think the keepers will be. And just a reminder to everybody, the trade deadline is up on Monday, I believe, at the end of the games. Grant, if you're watching this before the video, please confirm, but we'll put some in GroupMe as well. So Push, take us at the top half of the power ranking, since that's where you are and I'm at the bottom.
Number one is no surprise. 10 weeks in a row, Kyle Cahill, the number one power ranking team. He made a trade today too. That's going to help him. I'm sitting at number two. Kyle's keeper is Austin Eckler, by the way. I'm sitting at number two. My keeper is Najee Harris, who plays 98% of the snaps and just a workhorse, and I love him. Three is Fathom, has Dalvin Cook in a little bit of hot water right now with a domestic violence thing or something like that. But he thinks he's the victim. Cook. Yeah, Cook, not Fathom, not Fathom.
Well, no, but Fathom's in a little bit of hot water with his second trade from Scott. We'll get into that in a second.
Adam is always in hot water. Grant is at number four. David Montgomery is his keeper. Jim, number five, has Kamara, who is part of the other part of the slap bet. And Landon is number six, and he is keeping Zeke.
All some pretty solid keepers so far, and that is the top half of the league. Going into the bottom feeders of the league, we got Maury with Chubb after that Jonathan Taylor trade earlier today. I believe that Chubb would be his clear-cut keeper. Rich is sticking with Aaron Jones in that trade he got with Willie. Scott still hanging on to Barkley. Hopefully he can come back for him, but Scott is also compiling first-round picks. So if he can get Barkley to hit, that would be a great situation for him to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I am number 10. Right now I'm sitting with either McCaffrey or Taylor. I don't know. If I keep both of them going into the summer, I'm just going to see how it transpires. If McCaffrey comes back, great. If not, Taylor's a good fallback. So we'll see how that goes. Spencer, number 11. Either Gibson or Fournette, probably Gibson. Maybe they could get a quarterback in the offseason and make that team a little better.
Yep.
And then Willie sitting at the bottom at number 12, but has probably the best keeper in all the bunch with King Henry, assuming that he comes back healthy and does what he does. So
don't want to say Willie conceded. I don't think he did, but he made that trade for Henry. But he's just holding on, hoping to not be squid. And
I think it was a perfect situation, and I think it could pay off for him big time.
Well, that's what I did with it was a year before I was squid, but I was in the Squid Bowl, I believe, and I traded for Le'Veon Bell with Kyle, and I was not squid. But Le'Veon Bell didn't turn out to do anything, so it was kind of a win-lose for me.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Anything can happen in the next year, no guarantees, and especially these running backs, they drop off.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of why I was seeing the writing on the wall with McCaffrey. I wasn't super confident and rather get a younger guy. But all right, let's take that and actually move into our main category for the week, which is going to be trade talk. And we have our special guest joining, Mr. Kyle Cahill.
Yes.
How we doing, Kyle?
Yes.
Feeling like a 3-time champion is what I'm feeling like.
Oh,
wow. Calling the shot. We just were talking about how you have been number one on the power rankings for 10 weeks in a row now, which is quite the accomplishment.
Yes, congratulations. Tip of the cap. Do you have any secrets for us?
Is that what we're up to? 10 weeks. So my secret is this. I don't actually set my lineup. I let this one just pick.
Yeah, Reagan. Let's go.
I just let her pick my players. Hey, Reagan, what's on TV tonight? Football. Good job.
That's right. She's starting young. She knows. Football household.
So what you're saying is if you win a ring this year, you're going to get one very small to fit her finger, and all the prize money is going to her.
Oh, it'll go to them anyways. So
if Kyle wins the championship and he sends us a photo with championship rings on both of his children, that would be the ultimate flex.
Is that a power move?
That is a power move, and there would be a lot of man points dished out for that one.
I agree.
Man.
Well, welcome, Kyle. We were just about to get into all the trade talks, but before we do that, we want to break down your trade earlier today. There was a trade that happened last night between me and Post where he got Devontae Adams, and based off your trade today, it looked like you traded. I have it here somewhere. You got AJ Brown and you gave up Thielen and Gordon. So walk us through that and what you were thinking.
Well, we're in an arms race right now, and legitimately, not to like offend anybody in the league or anything, but we're kind of like a 2-horse race right now at the top. And Jake actually passed me up. I don't know if you talked about this or not, but Jake passed me up for total points for.
Yep.
All year, somebody's done that. So I knew that I needed to do something. So I went, I'm dinging like crazy over
Dude, you're going popular.
Are these trade requests coming in?
Probably. Scott, what's Scott doing? Is he working? Because if not,
Miss Amanda.
I'm sorry.
No, you're
Hey, Miss
good.
Amanda.
yeah, you guys are getting the full effect of the Cahill household right now.
I love
what
it.
it
Hey,
really
perfect.
looks like.
Hey, you know what? That background beats Adam's backwards message that was on his podcast. So,
That is so true. So Jake trades for Devontae Adams, and like the pressure was on. And at that point, I knew I needed to go get something. And Scott and I, we work well together. We've had quite a few deals go through this year. So
yeah.
he's usually on the same page with me as far as like something I'm looking for and something he's looking for. He has traded like everyone off of his team, so he needed some depth. So I know that making that trade, you're getting a starting wide receiver and a starting running back on his team, and then I'm pulling in. So Fantasy Pros, I have 3 of the top 7 wide receivers for the rest of the season power rankings. So hopefully it pays, because I have truly gone all in.
Well,
who is it?
Yeah.
Hill, AJ Brown, and who?
Cup number 1.
Oh, Cup. That's
Dang.
right. Yeah.
Dang.
I said, before you hopped on, I said, I think we spooked Kyle with that trade last night, because it was like 12 hours later, and then bing, this morning I was brushing my teeth and I heard the bloop on Sleeper, and I was like, I bet Kyle made a trade, and you did. So, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So,
Thank
I mean,
you. I just got brought 4 socks brought to me. Thank you.
those dirty socks.
Oh, number 5.
But
Dang, look at
I'm
you.
glad you're all in, like you said. I mean, and actually, what you said was like championships are in the 3rd through 7th or 8th round, or the picks, and that helped me in my trade, because I told Spelly this earlier, but I made that deal. I was at a dinner last night, and I made that deal underneath the table while keeping conversations going with everyone.
That's amazing.
But,
It's added a dynamic, like trading draft picks and doing that. It's added such a cool dynamic to the league. Shout out Sleeper, because it makes it possible. But it really has made it cool. Like, it's added something different to the league that we haven't had before. And to be able to like change something up this far in and add a fun dynamic that, like, let's be honest, like negotiating the trades, we all feel like we're actual like NFL GMs. Like, it's fun. It's fun to do once you actually get there.
It is. I hope all the Sleeper does keep track of all of the picks. So let's fingers crossed those all stay together.
You might just have to use Sleeper again next year.
Maybe it will.
We're gonna have a business case be put together by all the Sleeper fanatics, and if you guys could convince the league, let's do it. And I'm a Sleeper hater, and you guys know that, but the draft picks are starting to change my mind just a little bit. So
it's cool.
I like it. And I know there's been talks about a dynasty league. I think somebody needs to kind of put something together for that. I do think we're working towards it. And I think a lot of people would be on board. I just don't know too much about it. So
if we're doing a dynasty league, I want to keep my team I have now.
I know, me too.
So let's do it right now.
You guys are keeping your team every year.
Yeah.
We all can't be like Grant and move into keepers the year he has the number 1 pick. So
that was all. that was a setup. Everyone knows that. That's just the commish for you.
I'm excited you guys had me on, because and I got the text, and I was like, all right, let's go. Finally. I was like, first time, long time. Been watching all every
First
week.
time, long time.
Finally get on.
Yeah. Well, I told you we had a plan. We were waiting for you to get number 10 or 10 weeks, and it was in jeopardy this week, and so it almost backfired on us. So you're lucky you won.
What a disaster last week was. So I went into last week and I was projected like 135, which was the highest. It was of any of our teams, of any of our games all season long. It was the highest projection before the week started.
Yep.
So I'm thinking like
133 you were projected.
I just opened up this whole thing. I trade a first round pick. I've got Tyreek Hill. Like it's about to go down.
Mhm.
And I drop half of my
Yeah.
like season.
75.
I was averaging, so I mean, not quite, but I was averaging 130 points a game, and I dropped 75 and get a win in garbage time. I would have gone to bed. I would not have stayed up for that Sunday night game, and just garbage time touchdown. Rich rolls out Higbee
Mhm.
and Robert Woods. So I've only got a certain number of people that I can get touchdown passes from, and he
Yep.
happened to hit.
You hit and you lucked out with Higbee stepping out. And
Higbee caught that touchdown. Game over. I lose. Nope,
Yep.
out of bounds.
well, you weren't the only one because just some other notable scores. Spelly projected 120, scored 58, and Jim projected 117 and only scored 71. It was an odd week.
It was an odd week. Especially now with the AJ Brown trade, like I would say 2 or 3 weeks ago, I wouldn't have thought I could run the table, but I'm
confident.
thinking it might happen.
I don't even
guys.
know what week you and I play. I don't even know. Let's see.
Who did you lose to?
I lost to Grant. It was my lowest
Grant.
score of the year, which was like 109 at the time, was my lowest score of the year.
Okay.
Actually, I take that back. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because I'm confident.
You got some buys.
I'm confident against Adam this week. I played Jake in 2 weeks.
Week 11.
And you know who's on bye week 11?
Who? Cooper Kupp.
The Rams.
Oh, just what I needed. I don't even care.
Wow.
That doesn't matter. Well, you're just talking about running the table, but I'm just.
So
You're going to
we
make
both
the playoffs,
win,
and
if we both win this week,
Mhm.
we're going to have this like epic showdown in week 11
Mhm.
and with no Rams players. If you win, you would probably overtake number 1 power ranking.
I will say I try not to look ahead. That's the first time I've looked ahead because I don't like, I overthink things. So I've never looked ahead to who I'm playing until like that week of. So now that I know I'm playing you week 11, I'll be thinking about that for 2 weeks. So
Hey, you got to look ahead and always look ahead to the first round of the playoffs. So I guess for you two, probably the second round with all your buys, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a good position to be in. All right,
Yeah, we'll
Kyle,
see.
give us some words of wisdom from the number 1 power ranking team. Give us, what's going to happen the rest of the year, whatever message you want to set out to the league.
Ah!
Man, third time's a charm. So we're gonna have 3 of them.
Mhm.
It's looking like Scott is trying to get himself into a position to get 3 next year.
Mm-hmm.
Rounds 1 and 2 don't matter apparently. Mid rounds win you your league.
Mhm.
Words of wisdom. I don't think. Somebody else has said this. I don't think Willie will be Squid.
We deemed that on this podcast about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We don't think Willie's going to be it either.
I would say that's a bold prediction, but I don't know if that's the case. Willie cares too much about fantasy football to end up being Squid. And I'm not saying nobody else like cares as much. That's not what I mean. But I think he is going to scratch and claw and fight and do everything he can not be Squid. I think there's a couple people in the league that are making some big moves right now that shouldn't have, because the team's not good enough to win it this year, and now you're not going to have pick.
Ooh, I never even thought about
Hey,
that.
what are you saying? I'm doing okay.
I never even thought of it like that. You're right.
It's definitely a tough position to be in. We have 5 weeks left. There's a lot of guys in the middle. There's a lot of 5 and 4 teams and 4 and 5 teams.
Yep. The one thing that I'm upset about this year, if I had to have one complaint, what I am upset about this year is I have been the sub above team 10 weeks in a row, and I haven't even, had any Jersey Mike swag, no free subs. Like, what is this?
Hey, you're talking to the wrong people.
Well, you know what? Grant got all those free sub cards, and if you notice in the predictions video, he only picks himself and Scott to win those. So you need to talk to Grant about it. I'm calling you out, Grant. You need to share the love, brother.
How we're picking this week. I know you do that as your first segment. See, first time, long time. How'd you do? How do you do in pick'ems?
Grant went 6-0.
6-0.
For the first time this year, he went 6-0. So
Okay.
he's
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Spelly, how's that? Have you been like putting some like moisturizer or anything on that cheek?
doing
You
some
know what?
cheek
You're
exercises.
gonna have to just go back and rewatch the podcast. We definitely we addressed it. I haven't conceded yet, but yeah, I'm lotioning up for it. So we'll
Hey,
see
you
how it
never
goes.
you never know. Like I said, we got 5 weeks left. You never know. It's just
You
Yep.
never know.
Crazier
and
things
that's
have
why
happened.
we don't think Willie's going to be squid because he could just pop off
Yeah.
in one of the weeks and get a high score out of the squid bracket. You just never know.
Yep.
So
All right. Well, we are going to get into some trades. Kyle, thank you so much for joining and being the number one sub above the rest power ranking team. We wish you the best of luck going forward, and we'll see how this season shakes out. But thank you for joining.
Appreciate you having me on, guys. That was fun. I'll
Yes, sir.
can't wait to watch the whole thing.
hey, I tell you what, if you run the table and go power rankings for the next 5 weeks, we'll have you on again.
Oh, that's what I like to hear.
So
Hey, can you say bye-bye?
bye, Reagan.
Bye, Reagan. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you, boys.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
That was a
Gotta
good
love
one.
it.
Oh, gotta love it.
Gotta love it. All right. You know what? Let's run through these trades that have happened real quick. I just want to point out a few things, but just the past 2 weeks have been absolute craziness. It kind of started off, and I know there were some, I apologize, guys. There were some trades before this, but I had to draw the line somewhere. And so we've really just done the past 2 weeks. But to start it off, it was the McCaffrey and Hubbard trade for Kamara. We'll see how that shakes out. And then another big trade, Willie got Derrick Henry, and Harris and Rich got Jones and Pollard. So I believe that was really what started to get the ball rolling with all these trades. It was 2 weeks out before the deadline, but keepers were definitely in effect. And as we pointed out, there were some guys up in the air about that. But and then to me, this is what really opened the floodgates with the picks. And of course, who else besides Scott and Kyle to get that going? But Kyle got Tyreek Hill and a 15th round pick, and Scott got the 2022 first round pick from Kyle. And I think that kind of ripped the Band-Aid off, and everybody's like, okay, we kind of set the bar for what those picks are worth. And I think people were more willing to do it because of that.
It's almost like the sleeper, the people who are like sleeper, they was like, you know what, let's do a trade and show everyone what it's about. So it's almost like it was calculated.
There's some backdoor lobbying for the sleeper platform.
We've said it before. Those three, it's Grant, Kyle, and Scott. Their phones need to be audited every year because you never know. You never know what they're doing behind closed doors.
Yeah, I don't trust them further than I can throw them. After that, we had Landon and Spencer do a trade. Landon got Zeke and Leonard Fournette, and Spencer got a first-round pick. So, Spencer I think Spencer knows his year is pretty much done, focusing on next year, trying to get back to Kansas City. And Landon, I know Landon's making a push. He has, I don't even know how many trade offers he sent me in the past 48 hours, but Elliott and Fournette got him a keeper and gave him a chance to make a push. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, right after that, he got Pollard and gave Rich, Damian Williams, Gore, and Mooney. So that was just kind of a backdoor trade to solidify handcuffs.
Which I'm all for. And Landon had 7 running backs on his team. I'm not sure why he traded a first and 3 other players for him. But hey, do you, Landon?
Yeah, it worked. And then the trade that just baffles everybody, of course. Adam again traded with Scott. He got DJ Moore and Josh Jacobs, the guy that he should have had all along, and a 14th round pick, which who cares about that? And Scott got Randall Cobb and Scott got Randall Cobb and a first round pick from Adam. Just blows my mind that Adam gave up a first round pick.
I'll agree with Adam. He said, if I'm going to trade my kicker for a first, I should be able to do it. I agree with you. You should, but it doesn't make it right, Adam.
Right.
I mean, what do you even say? I mean, it is what it is. And Fathom, I love you and God bless you, but whatever. And you know what? He said, I made that trade because I'm trying to take down Kyle. And I hope you do take down Kyle. Just like we hope the Kenyon Drake trade worked out for you. And I think it kind of did.
Kenyon Drake was actually like a top 10 running back the
So
last 3 weeks or something crazy.
I don't know how Adam does
Yeah.
it, but who knows? Maybe this will work out. But the 14th pick, whatever.
Well, what I think happens with the late round picks is you need to even out picks. You only get 15 picks in a draft. And so if you don't
That's
send a pick with it, you're going to have to draft somebody and drop somebody when it comes to the draft next year. So I think that's why
I don't
those
think
come.
that in depth.
Yeah.
That's why I have you.
But I think I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. The last 3 trades, me and you traded last night, Devontae Adams for Brown and a 2nd round pick. And then we talked about the AJ Brown for Thielen and Gordon. And then today I traded my 1st round pick next year for Jonathan Taylor. And we kind of talked about the reasons there. The main things I want to point out from all this, there's been a lot of craziness. There's been a lot of keepers shifting around. But it's the 1st round picks. And we have it here for you. Who has 1st round picks? Who doesn't? Do you want to walk us through that?
Yeah, we'll start with the people who don't have any 1st round picks, and that is Spelly, Lang, and Kyle. And then flipping that, people that have 2 1st round picks, Scott, Spencer, and Maury. So there's a lot of 1st round picks being thrown around, and I mean, it's next year draft's gonna be kind of weird. I think it's gonna be weird having not some people pick and then some people picking 2-3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think trading's done. I do think there's going to be a couple late trades, panic trades.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but like I said, me and Kyle we were, I got Adams for some firepower for the playoffs. He got AJ Brown to counter that in the playoffs. It's like he's eyeing me and I'm eyeing him, but that's if we face each other. But you got to prepare for it. So, but next year's draft's going to be kind of goofy.
I agree. Well, it was a little bit of a longer podcast today. We were happy to have a guest and Kyle on here, so well worth it. Hopefully everybody is still watching, but you got to love trade week. And I really hope trading isn't done. I hope that we have a few more blockbuster trades and maybe some more picks. I don't know. We'll see. But Posh, I wish you the best of luck. I think
thank you.
It is a race between you and Kyle. There's some other teams in there I think that could make a push as well. I think Landon has a pretty good team. He's made some moves. And then some of these wild card teams,
Fathom,
I think can make a push. Yeah,
Fathom's in there. I mean,
Grant has a decent team. He's been hanging in all year. So it's definitely not over yet.
No. And I know you and I have 2 players going tonight against each other. So best of luck to you tonight.
Who do we have going tonight?
I have Lamar, and you have Marquise Brown going.
Oh, see, that's a new guy on my team, so I wasn't even paying attention. But yep, that works. Hopefully Lamar throws a bunch of touchdowns to him.
You know what? I'm cool with it. They equaled each other out, so that's better than nothing. So, and also next week we have our guest lined up for next week, and I think you guys are going to like it. So be prepared for that and stay tuned. He's a character, so I think he's gonna put on a show.
I definitely agree with that statement. And as always, I just want to do a quick shout out. We kind of rushed through it earlier, but BJ's Hardware is just a sponsor of the Check Yourself segment and just of the whole pod. So if you guys have any hardware needs, you know where to go. And we do have a Christmas light special coming on this year. So we will come out and hang lights on your house, and we could do any kind of yard decorations, anything you want to do. And also, thank you for all the applicants last week. We had a ton of applicants. Unfortunately, none of you bozos have a master's degree in hardware management, so we can't hire you all, but don't quit your day jobs with that one.
Yeah, it was a requirement, and it amazes me that people still come to interviews without that hardware management degree. But, it's an equal opportunity employer, so we'll interview you, and but the details to it.
You gotta try to get your foot in the door where you can. So it didn't work out this time, but buy your Christmas lights from us, and that might sway us in a different direction.
Yes.
All right, Posh. Thank you as always.
We'll see you
on the fantasy football field. Good luck this week, and
you
as
too.
Always, good luck, guys.
Everyone, good luck this week.